A very sad and shocking social phenomenon that is taking shape here in this part of the world is solitary death. The findings show there has been an unsettling rise in the number of people dying alone, usually at home, especially in light of the sense of despair brought on by the pandemic. We have more on this reality in this report.
Solitary death refers to people dying alone after being isolated from their families and friends and remaining undiscovered for a very long period of time. Deprived of social contact amid the pandemic, more and more people die alone at home. The number of solitary deaths reported in 2020 when the pandemic began stood at over 4,000. Last year, an average of 11 people died alone a day, which is about 2.5 times higher than 8 years ago. In August, a man in his 30s took his own life and was discovered 2 months later in an apartment in Incheon. On one side of the room, about 10 propane gas bottles, empty soju bottles, and rotten foods were piled up. In the case of solitary death, special cleaning is required because bodies are usually discovered after a certain period of time after death.
고독사 현장은 아무래도 이제 오랫동안 외부와 소통이 단절된 경우가 많아서 술병이 많이 쌓여 있다던가 아니면은 음식물이 많이 쌓여 있다던가 아니면 쓰레기가 쌓여 있다던가 그런 특징들이 많이 있는 것 같습니다.
There are many different causes for solitary death, but many experts cite social deprivation due to the increase in single-person households as the main cause. According to the Ministry of the Interior and Safety, the number of single-person households in Korea is about 9 million, which takes up over 40% of the total.
고독사의 주요 원인으로 이야기하는 것이 이제 관계망의 단절과 고립입니다. 관계망의 단절과 고립의 위험이 있는 사람들이 코로나19 상황에서 거리두기가 정책화되면서 훨씬 더 다양한 관계망을 접촉할 수 있는 기회가 줄어들어서 이런 문제가 좀 더 심화되지 않았나 이렇게 예측하고 있습니다.
Moreover, the rate of solitary death among the younger population has increased sharply since COVID-19. The number of people aged under 40 who died alone in 2020 surged 62% compared to 2017. The one-person households consisted of young people are in a social blind spot as the nation's welfare system considers those population as young and capable of working. To address such a problem, local governments and welfare centers in the Seoul metropolitan area are striving to prevent solitary death. In addition, the Act on the Prevention and Management of Solitary Death has been in effect since April this year, but there is still a long way to go before developing a systematic policy.
거시적인 차원에서는 좀 사회적으로 직업의 기회가 늘고 노동 환경이 좀 안정화되는 것이 굉장히 중요하겠고, 그다음에 미시적인 차원에서는 실제로 관계망을 회복하는 지역사회 차원에서의 노력이 필요하다고 생각합니다.
Over in Japan, the country has carried out the Zero Isolation Project since 1990. Through the project, the country selects those who are considered at high risk of solitary death as subject to preventive care. In the UK, the loneliness agenda is seen as a strong cross-cutting issue. To tackle loneliness, the government has come up with customized measures. In Denmark, is preventing loneliness through building the residential community. Solitary death is no more an individual issue, but rather one of the major social problems to be tackled. There needs an improvement in the social safety net, as well as kind interest and careful approach to those isolated to prevent further solitary death. This has been 신세벽.